So hi everyone, welcome to my second presentation at Global C.R.E.D. It's absolutely fantastic to be here. I'm really honoured to have this opportunity. So as you can hear from my voice, I am from the UK. If I give you a little bit of background about myself before we start. So I was a languages teacher for 13 years, teaching secondary school level for 3 years and then 10 years in the middle school on the Isle of Wight, which is sort of the south of England near Southampton. And I taught there for 10 years, and that was sort of 9 to 13-year-olds working in the middle school. And for the last 10 years or so, I've been an independent languages consultant, and I normally travel all around the world running training. But of course, since the pandemic started, I've had to turn my business on its head, and I'm making my living through doing webinars. So it's a real pleasure to be here, and I hope you find this information useful. I thought the title was particularly appropriate for the Global C.R.E.D event, looking at Google Tour Creator and virtual reality. We're going to be looking at some other Google tools as well. And my Twitter account is on the screen there. I'm at Joe Dale on Twitter. If you aren't following me and you'd like to, feel free to do so. I've now surpassed 30,000 followers a few days ago, which is a bit mad, but never mind. And it has taken me 13 years to get up to that point, but it's something I'm very proud of. And if you want me to help in any sort of way or retweet messages for you, just let me know. I'm more than happy to do that. And my email address at the bottom there is joedale@talk21.com. So if you want to email me after today, I'm going to share the whole presentation with you anyway on the last slide. But if you want to email me and ask me anything about technology and languages, feel free to do so. And let's make a start. Okay. So this is what we're going to try and achieve in the next hour or so. As you can see, we're going to be looking at lots of different Google tools, ranging from Google Arts and Culture, Google Earth Voyager, Google Maps, Google My Maps, Google Expeditions, and Google Tour Creator. Okay. And you can see there the little image at the bottom there. That's a Bitmoji, which I thought was very appropriate for this presentation. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do is have a look at the Google Arts and Culture website. It's also available as an app as well. In this particular presentation, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be jumping from my presentation out onto Chrome. So I'm just going to click here and give you a flavor of what this website allows you to do. So there are lots of interesting items of culture. There's paintings. You can go around museums. You can see in-depth about historical events. So this one is the famous picture of the Starry Night. And you can see that if I click on the zoom icon here, then another little window appears here, and I can actually click on the plus icon and I can zoom right in, and I can actually see the quality of the brush strokes on the screen like this, which is pretty amazing. So if you're doing culture around different paintings, or you want to include that within your project that you're doing, focusing on language and culture, this is a really nice website for you to do. For you to look at. Another idea is you can click on the search option here, and we could do a search for Van Gogh. As you can see, I've put this in already, and we could then, as you can see there, you've got 210 items, about Van Gogh, and we can just click on that and just get a flavor of all the different things that are available. So that a classic one for the languages classroom is this one, the bedroom scene in Arles, and you can again see here, if we wanted to, we can zoom in. So we can click on the plus icon and we can zoom right in and have a look at the different parts of the picture. So we could, for example, talk about, if you're doing talking about your bedroom and talking what furniture is in your bedroom, then you could use this as a really nice, authentic cultural image. And then you could clearly ask the students to then draw their own versions and maybe put it into a slideshow and then add audio over the top. So you could do that in Google Slides, or you could do that in PowerPoint, or you could record the screen using a screencasting tool like Loom or Screencastify, and you could have lots of fun doing that, I think. Another thing which I really like about this particular website, Google Arts and Culture, is the way that you've got augmented reality and Street View. Now, if I click on the Street View option, it will actually allow me to go to the museum where the original picture can be displayed. So as you can see, there it is. So I can then zoom in if I wanted to here into the picture, not quite to the same depth that I could on the other one, but and the other zooming function. But now, if I wanted to, I can now move around and I can actually get a feeling of what it's like being in the museum where the actual picture is found, which again, I think is pretty amazing. And if you wanted to, you can then click on the arrows and use Google Street View in order to move around the museum. Okay, if I go back to here, another thing that you can do, as I mentioned, is augmented reality. Now, another famous picture of Van Gogh's is this self-portrait, and I've recorded a little video using Zoom to show you how you can incorporate augmented reality on a mobile device with this particular picture. But there are lots of examples of augmented reality on the website. So just have a listen to this and you can see how it works. Here we go. Another cool feature of the Google Arts and Culture website and app is augmented reality. So on this page here, we have a portrait by Van Gogh called Self-Portrait with Grey Felt Hat. And if I want to get this onto my iPad, all I have to do is simply scan the QR code, which I have here, which is a Chrome extension, launch the camera on my iPad and scan away. Okay, by doing that, a little notification comes up. It opens up automatically onto my iPad, and now I can now do a new share and actually show you my iPad screen, which is what I'm going to do right now. So I click share, like that. I now need to go into AirPlay, so I tap screen mirroring, I select the zoom option, and it will now produce a tick on the screen, and as you can now see, Van Gogh's picture. So if I now tap on the View in Augmented Reality button, bottom left there, you'll be able to see my screen, and I can now tap on the portrait at the bottom of my screen like that, and all of a sudden I have an augmented reality version of this painting like that. So if you were doing, for example, talking about visual description or colors or whatever it might be that you want to talk about, this is an augmented reality version of Van Gogh's famous painting. Amazing stuff. You can also take a picture as well. If you tap the white shutter button there, it takes a picture and saves it to your camera roll. And there we are. Fantastic. So another fantastic example of how you can use augmented reality on the Google Arts and Culture website using Van Gogh, as well as lots and lots of other fantastic artists and lots of other things that you can do with that website. So I would really encourage you, if you're a fan of incorporating culture in your language learning classes, then I think that Google Arts and Culture is wonderful for that. Okay, another really nice idea using Google tools is Google Earth, but there's also the Google Earth Voyager feature within Google Earth, which I'm going to talk about right now. So if I click on the Google Earth link, which will now launch the website, and that will now take me to Google Earth. I just have to wait a moment for it to launch. There we are, and you can see on the left-hand side, there's the icon here, Voyager. So if you click on that, what it allows you to do is it allows you to see lots of different tours, if you like, that other people have created that you can explore, which is really nice. So for example, if you wanted to click, let's have a look. If you wanted to click on this one around sea level, then I could click on that and it would actually take me to a tour, and I could click on tour cities. Okay, and as you can see here, it's talking about the sea level rise. It's talking about the ice shelves disintegrating in Antarctica, and you can see there are a number of different elements here that I can now click on. So I now can click on the next one, and it will take me to the next part of the tour. And as you can see here, we're now going to somewhere completely different in the Earth. And it's, in fact, this is London, as you can see. And this is a little bit galling, because in a moment you're going to see what London will look like if the sea temperatures go up by a few degrees. So I'm just waiting for this to load here. And then having done that, once it's completely loaded, there we are. Can you see this is supposed to be what London will look like if it's goes up by a few degrees, by 4 degrees C's more warm. And if you actually scroll down here, there's a little video, which if I click on, you can then get a quick idea of what this would look like. And then that then shows you what it would be like if it was 2 degrees C. So pretty shocking stuff. But you might think, well, what's that got to do with languages? Well, what you can do, I'm going to show you right now, is if I go to the next slide, there's a website which I found here, which if I click on, it's called getteach.com. And if I scroll down, you can see that a very clever person has put together this Google Earth language hack. So if I click on this link here, I can get the language of Google Earth changed. So for example, if I now click on the Explorer Voyager option, as you can see now, it's in French. So if I now scroll down, I can go to the same thing again, and it's all in French. Okay, so I can now click on that and click Tour des Villes. And there we are. As you can see, it's now all in French. Now, this would obviously, you'd have to use that with students that have been doing language for a while, but why not, bring the culture in, bring in a very, very important global issue, and that would be absolutely fantastic, but in the target language. So there we are. Okay, we're going to come out of this right now, go back to my presentation, and I'm going to carry on. Now, in this slide, this is showcasing the fact that some very clever people have put together lots of multilingual versions of different voyages. So again, if I click on the link here, it will open up Google Sheets. And I'm going to give you a flavor now of all the different things that you can look at in Google Earth Voyages. So one of my favorites is here, Beatlemania. So again, if I go and click on the French link here for Beatlemania, or La Beatlemania, then it will allow me to go to a Google Earth tour using Voyager, but it's all in French. So here you can see, for example, we can start off in the Le Cavern Club in Liverpool, where it all started. Again, all the text is in French. And then we'll just wait for this to load. As you can see, there we are. And then you can do something on a more basic level. You could ask the students, what is this person thinking, where he's just been? What are these two people talking about? What are the signs you can see? What are the clubs that are around? There we are, Turtle Bay, around the Cabin Club in Liverpool, etc., etc. Then we can click on the arrow here, go to the next scene. So in this one, another important historical moment in the Beatles' history. This is Penny Lane. So if I grab the Street View man, Peg Man, and drop him here. Let's do that again. There we are. Then we're going to go straight into Street View, and we can now see Penny Lane. So we should be able to see a signpost saying Penny Lane in a moment. And yep, there we are. So if I just move forward a little bit, obviously you've got Penny Lane in the middle of the street there, but it also says Penny Lane. So again, you can see that you've got some text there in the target language, which is wonderful. Let's have a quick look through the other points in this story that someone has put together for us. So the next place is right in Hamburg, the Indra Club. Again, all in French. You could pick out some keywords there, some cognates and what have you. The next place we're going to is, I think, in the States, Ed Sullivan. Yeah, the Ed Sullivan Theatre, where they did their first TV appearance in the States. So again, you could go into Street View in the way that I've just shown you. Let's go to the next place. Okay, we're now going to go to where are we going? We're going to not Shea Stadium, but just waiting for it to load up. The Hollywood Bowl, of course, or the Hollywood Bowl. And again, we've got some lovely language there, and so on and so forth. Okay, so that just gives you a little idea of the sorts of tours which are available, and there's a whole range of different tours that you can explore in a range of languages, which you can bring the language learning to life by using culture. This last one, okay, that's in India, where the Beatles went off with the Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, and there we are. Okay, let's go back to my presentation. Don't forget, I'm sharing the whole presentation with you, so you'll be able to see this in your own time. Okay, so another idea is the fact that you can change the language in Google Maps, which is really cool. So if I were, for example, to come out of my presentation and go to Google Maps this time, so let's close a few of these windows. Okay, let's go to Google Maps. Okay. Right, so let's do a quick search for Buckingham Palace, okay, in London. So let's click there. Okay, and I now want to do some directions. So I click on directions, and I want to know how to get from Buckingham Palace to the Houses of Parliament. Okay, so Houses of Parliament, and let's do a quick search. Right, so as you can see, it's saying, or let's go on foot. Let's see how long it takes us to do that. Okay, so it's saying it's going to take us 17 minutes. And if I click on that, you'll see that the instructions are all in English. But did you know that if I click on the arrow here, and I click on the 3 lines there, and I scroll down, I go to language. So if I click on that and I choose, for example, French, all of a sudden, the directions are in French. Okay, so again, if you were practicing directions in French, then, or in whichever language, you could then get these students to do an authentic walk from one place to another place. And then, of course, you could record the screen using some sort of screen recording software like Loom or Screencastify, and plot how they would get from place to place by, as you can see here, prendre la direction sud-est vers Spur Road, prendre à droite sur Spur Road, and what have you. Okay, so that's a nice little trick to be able to change the language of Google Maps into French, German, Spanish, etc. Okay, let's go back to my presentation. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we'll have a look here. This is 17 stunning places to visit with Google Maps. So if I click on this link here, which is from lifehack.com, and have a quick look down, you can see here, for example, we've got the, oh, lovely. Don't you love these? Right, let me just quickly say no to all of these. Oh, how annoying. The great thing about doing things live is you get these sorts of things coming up. Right, that's all fine, I think. Yep, and then click submit. Right, so you can see you've got places like the Colosseum, you've got the Palace of Versailles, you've got Everest Base Camp, you've got the White House. So let's go to the Colosseum. If I click on the link, what it does is it takes me straight to the Colosseum, which I was lucky enough to actually go to a couple of years ago as part of a project I was involved in. So here we are in the Colosseum, and then as we're in Street View, we can move ahead. Oh, we can move around, and we can have a look around, and so on and so forth. Okay, let's go back to the previous page, which is here, and let's have a look around the White House, because you can actually go inside as we did with the museum a moment ago. Okay, I'm sure Joe Biden can't wait to have a look around here. So as you can see, here's the White House, and I can now have a quick look around. So I can click here, for example. I can click here, and I can have a look through. Okay, and so on and so forth. So again, you could do some lovely language around where we are, what you can see, you know, sort of a typical, usual topics, but in unusual places. That's what this is all about, I think. So let's go back and see one more. Let's have a look at Stonehenge. So I can remember in the, well, let's say a few years ago, of actually being able to walk around Stonehenge, but of course you can't get near it now. You have to be a certain distance away. But I can remember as a child being able to get up and close and personal with these stones. And now you can do this using Street View, which is really nice again. Okay, so there we are. So those are a few really nice different places you can visit using Google Maps that have been done for you. Okay. let's have a look at somewhere else. Right, Google My Maps. Now, Google My Maps is also a really nice Google tool that you can use in order to bring language and culture alive. So again, I'm going to click on this link here. It's going to take me to an example of this. This is a place in Brittany, C.R.E.D, which is where we used to go when I was a French teacher. And we used to go once a year for 5 days, 1 day to get there, 1 day to get back, and then 3 days actually being in the country. And so you can see here that I can click on the different places, and they're giving little images, and I've got some text underneath. I can click on the preview option here, which will give you a better view. Okay, so I've got the C.R.E.D, and I've got the picture there. I can then go back. I can go to Matignon, picture there, and so on and so forth. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you how to build one of these from scratch. So if I go back to here and create new map. Okay, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to give my map a title. So let's click here and we'll call it C.R.E.D. Okay, making sure that I've got all the spaces correct. And that's right, and then click save. Right, so then the first thing I'm going to do is do a search for C.R.E.D. Oh, okay, let me just put it in again here. Right, I thought I was going to be able to copy and paste it. Right, C.R.E.D. There we are, and I click there. Right, so there we are. This is the pin, and then what I can do is you can see here, you've got the little add marker option. So I click on that, and you can see that my cursor has now become a cross. I can click on this, and there it is. Right, so the first point, as it's called, I can then label as C.R.E.D. Okay, there we are. Right, and then here I can write in some a sentence, some words in the target language. For today, I'm just going to say something very straightforward in English. So I'm going to say every year we would. Okay, let me start again. Last year we went to Sanka. Okay, something like that. And then I can also click the camera option. And it says Google image search here. So I click on Google image search. You can upload your own images if you've got images of the place you want to do a tour about. But I'm just going to put in C.R.E.D. like that. Do a search, and then we'll see what comes up. Okay, so I'm going to choose one of these pictures. I'm going to go for this one. So I select that picture, and I click select. Okay, and that one, now, as you can see, that now appears at the top here. And I can now click save. Let's put a full stop at the end because it is the end of a sentence, right? Okay, and there it is. Okay, and then you carry on in the same way. So then you click the next point. So you want to click here, and then we want to put in somewhere else. So we'll put in Matignon. There we are. And that's a new place we want to do. So then you just repeat the same thing. So we click here, we click there. We'll put in Matignon. And we always used to go to the market. So we could say, for example, we went to the market. That. And then again, I can add a picture. And then we can put in Matignon market. See what comes up. Okay, so if we have a look down here, there we are, perfect picture. So we click there, click select. It will then appear. Oh, that's interesting. Let's try that again. It might be that picture is not available on the internet anymore. So let's try another picture. Let's see if I can find another picture of a market. Let's have a look. Just when you want a picture of a market. Let's have a look. Okay, let's just go for any old picture. So let's just put in let's just put in something else. Let's put in Matignon. So just on its own. So let's just put in Matignon. Okay, let's go for this picture. That one. Okay, hopefully this one will work. There we are. So I think probably the last one, it had been removed from the internet. Maybe, I don't know. Okay, then you click save. You can also add a YouTube clip as well if you want to, which is quite nice. Right, let's put in another place. Let's put in Dinan. There we are. And click here, and then click. Let's get rid of that as well. That's annoying. Right, so let's put in Dinan. We went to the town of Dinan, which is a medieval town. If you've not been to Dinan before, it's fantastic. Again, we can then click on the image icon and we can put in Dinan. That and click search and then find an image. So that's a really nice image. We'll click on that one and click select. Okay, wait for it to come up. There we are. Click save. Like that. We'll then put in Mont Saint-Michel. Okay. Click on the marker. And then Mont Saint-Michel. Making sure spell it correctly. The favorite part of the trip was always Mont Saint-Michel. It was always, yep. And then click the camera, put in Mont Saint-Michel, and search. Okay, and we'll go for this picture, this one, I think, and select, and then click save. Okay, and then the last one, we'll put in Dinar. Click on here and click there, and then click, add Dinar, find a picture, and search. Okay, so we'll go for this one, I think. And we'll say the students bought ice creams in Dinar. Great way of practicing their French. Make sure I spell students correctly. Okay, and then click save. But as I was saying, this could all be done in the target language when you're writing your text. And I can see that I've misspelled Dinar as well. So let's click the edit option, click up here, make sure I spell it correctly, and then click save. Right, so we've done our 5 different points. We can now click on the preview button like that. And then what you could do is you could then record your screen using Loom or Screencastify or Flipgrid or whatever screencasting software you like, screen recording software. And then what we can do is we can jump from place to place. So we could start off by talking about going to Saint-Carles-Guidot. So you can say in the target language, last year we went to Saint-Carles-Guidot. We sat on the beach and we played games. We played football and what have you, or soccer, should I say. We then click here and go to the next place. On a Wednesday, we went to the market and we bought crêpes, for example. We went to the medieval city of Dinan. It was very old and amazing. We went to Mont Saint-Michel. This was my favorite part of the visit, and I bought a postcard for my family. We went to Dinar, and I practiced my French when buying an ice cream. And there we are. So that's just an example. I'm going to give another example of this later on, but that just shows you how you can bring the language to life. You can practice your writing and your speaking by recording the screen and building your customized map in Google My Maps. So let's go back to my presentation and let's go on to the next slide. Okay, so here's some ideas on how you can use Google My Maps. I took this from the dailygenius.com website. So you can see you've got in an English class, students can map Homer's Odyssey and then add thoughts and evidence from the text and justification for whether or not the places that they mark are accurate. If If you're studying a foreign language, which is clearly very pertinent here, you can create virtual tours of foreign countries and cities. They can add a description in the target language on each pinned location. Younger students in elementary school could read a story such as hottest, coldest, highest, deepest, and find each location, and so on and so forth. So I just think it's a really nice way of mapping out a story or describing an area for your students to bring the language to life. So that's fantastic. Okay. Now, I'm a big fan of Heidi Trude, who has really inspired me over the years. And last year, she won the Flipgrid App Smash Madness competition, which was a global competition. And her winning entry was all around this idea, which is where I got the inspiration from, which I'm very happy to share Heidi's fantastic work. So she's been amazing talking about virtual reality. And I'm just going to let her speak for herself by playing this little Flipgrid entry showing exactly how she won the global competition. Here we go.
Everyone, my name is Heidi Trude, and today I'm here to present to you my epic app smash of MyMaps, Screencastify, and Flipgrid. The first tool I'm choosing to use in this app smash is MyMaps. MyMaps allows students to create a unique map with map pins, images, and videos. Screencastify allows students to create a virtual guided tour of their town using the map they created in MyMaps. So that's step 2. And then tool number 3 is Flipgrid, which allows students to share their voice and their tour of the town with the world. The project that I designed is a collaboration with my partner school in France. The students created tours of their towns in French and in English to be shared with each other. The students were then asked to reply back and forth to each other, describing their towns and any questions that they had. Here's what it would look like.
So this is deliberately quiet. I don't know why it's quiet, but it's not a problem with your computer. So you can see here that Heidi is getting her students to create their mind maps, recording over the top, having created the different pins with the images and the text on the screen.
And then the students also received replies back, and here's an example of what that reply looked like.
So this is her partner school in France, which is fantastic. And so she's getting authentic language. Again, you won't be able to hear it very well, so don't worry if you can't. But you can get a flavour of what she's trying to do there, which is fantastic. I'm not surprised this won the whole competition. It's great.
The impact on the project and the students was amazing. The students not only had the chance to show their towns, but they also were able to share their voice to describe their towns. The students gained a global perspective, and they were able to see how their towns were similar or different from their peers in France. The App Smash allows the students to share what is meaningful to them and to make the global connection. The students are taking their learning outside of the 4 walls of the classroom, which is so important. We're taking it beyond what we do in the school. And I can easily see the smash of Google My Maps, Screencastify, and Flipgrid being used by teachers in all subject areas, whether you're doing a book review, whether you're looking at events in history. There's so many possibilities. So again, this is Heidi Trude with an amazing app smash of Flipgrid, Screencastify, and Google My Maps. Thank you.
And there we are. So I think that's absolutely fabulous. And when Heidi did this, it wasn't possible to screen record with Flipgrid, but it is now. So you can actually cut out the Screencastify element and just use My Maps with Flipgrid, which is fantastic. This is a blog post by on EdTech Awesomeness, which again I think is fantastic, and it essentially goes to the same idea of using My Maps with screen recording. This was created by Melanie Zolnier, and you can see she's just going through the same process. She's also a languages teacher, and that's why I've included her blog post in my presentation. So I think it's very, very important to credit people when you are talking about their work, which is what I've just done. Okay. Airpano is a really nice website as well, which has 360 photos and 360 videos as well, to give you a quick flavor of how it works. And click on this link. This is a 360 photo of Mont Saint-Michel that I mentioned a moment ago. So I can click on the screen, And that will now take me to see Mont Saint Michel. Hopefully, there we are. There it is. You get this ambient music in the background. So if I want to mute that, I simply click on the speaker here, and I can move around and see all around Mont Saint Michel. I can also click on different views. I can click on the helicopter view here to see the Abbey at night. There we are, which is really cool. And if I go on to the right-hand side here, I can click on other views of the Mont Saint Michel, which is also very nice as well. So you just get a flavor, and you just do a search here for anywhere you want to find, and all the images are all the images are 360 images. You've also got 360 videos, which are available on YouTube as well. So AirPano completely free, and a nice way of bringing culture as well into the classroom. Okay, Google Expeditions. This has been around for a while now. This works in conjunction with Google Cardboard or other VR headsets. So it's an iOS and Android app. You can, again, go to different places around the world and view them as virtual reality experiences. If you are wearing Google Cardboard, you have a more immersive experience. So as you can see here, this is about the Notre Dame. So you can do a tour of Paris, and all, again, completely free. And what's particularly nice in a moment when I'm going to talk about Google Tour Creator is if you use the same Google account to log into Google Expeditions as Google Tour Creator, then you'll be able to create your own tours in Google Tour Creator, and they will appear automatically under the My Tours section of Google Expeditions. So it means that you can then have an immersive experience of your own tours, which is just wonderful. Okay, let's move on to the next slide. This is, again, like the Google Voyages. Some kind people have put together a Google Sheet showing some of the Google Expeditions that you can go on just to make your life a bit easier. So again, you can now scroll down here, and there's something that takes your fancy. You can then click on it, and you can then, as you can see, you've got the links here. You can click on it and have a look around the expeditions according to the place that then comes up. So there's something for everyone there, and you can clearly adapt it to the languages classroom, I think, really easily. Okay, let's go back to my presentation. And now we're going to go into Google Tour Creator. Now, I think Google Tour Creator is absolutely fabulous for making your own virtual tour. But literally about 15 minutes before I started this presentation, I had an email from Google, and I was very shocked to see this bad news, which is Tour Creator is going to be shutting down on the 30th of June, literally 15 minutes before I was doing my presentation. So the good news is that it's still going to be available up until the end of June, and any tours that you make, you'll be able to use the assets from. And then my understanding, having had a quick look on Twitter, is that they're going to expand the Google Earth projects, which allows you to do something similar. But annoyingly, at the moment, you can't add audio into the Google Earth projects. But if they make an updated version, which I believe that's what they're going to be doing, then I'm sure they will be adding audio in, which is one of the really lovely things about Google Tour Creator. So I thought I'd get that out of the way, but then I'm going to extol the virtues of Google Tour Creator. But I just wanted to be very honest with everybody while doing this presentation. And I do feel a little bit sad about this news, to say the least. But nonetheless, let's rejoice in the power of Google Tour Creator and hopefully what Google Earth projects will become. Okay, so on this particular slide, you've got a friend of mine, Chris Hart, who is from the northeast of England originally, but he's been living in Melbourne, Australia for about the last 8 years or so. And he's done a number of different webinars around the use of Google Tour Creator, particularly in the languages classroom. You can see the one on the right-hand side there at the bottom right is a TILT webinar that he did for us, which I talked about in my previous presentation. So TILT stands for Technology and Language Teaching. If you want to hear more about that, either jump onto my YouTube channel, which is available at JoeDale100, 100 as in the figures, or watch my previous presentation to learn all about the TILT webinars and the fact there were over 50 webinars that have been created as of March of this year to help teachers with remote teaching. And then on the left-hand side, you've got Chris, again, talking about using Google Tour Creator in a really interesting way, along with his Google colleagues. And above that, you've got Darren White and Rachel Kotup and Ben Morris, again, who are googly people, talking about Google Tour Creator. Rachel is actually Australian. She's from Australia originally, but she's living in the UK now. And she did a lovely tour of her going around different places in Australia. And then on the right-hand side, top right, you've got a tutorial website by Chris Hart, which goes through step-by-step on how to build a tour in Google Tour Creator. And you can see that on the bottom of this slide, you've got all the different links to everything I'm referring to. Right, again, Heidi Trude, who's been amazing in promoting virtual reality. She did a blog post a couple of years ago called Google Geo Tools Virtual Reality in the Languages Classroom. And then you've got EdTech Emma here, again, talking about using Google Tour Creator for English classrooms. So again, you've got the links there. You can have a look at those in your own time. Okay, this template, I'm going to demonstrate this live in a moment. This allows you to make your own 360 photo, which is incredibly cool. This is, again, by the amazing Chris Hart. And I'm going to share a template with you that he created. And I'm going to show you how you can absorb yourself or immerse yourself in your own set of different images, which you can then put into Google Tour Creator, which I will demonstrate in a moment. Okay. Right, here are a couple of presentations which I've done as well around the same topic of using Google Tour Creator in the Languages Classroom. This particular one is for the British Council and the Qatar Foundation International, looking at how it could be used in the Arabic classroom. And then on the next slide, we've got a version I did for the Victorian Association of Teachers of Italian back in September. And that goes through essentially what I'm doing right now, but just a slightly longer version. And again, lots of ideas that you can check out and watch with the pause button. So you can pause me to take a breath and to have a look at all the different things I'll be showing. ThingLink is another website which allows you to upload 360 photos. So if I just give you a flavor of how this works, I click on this link here, then you can see this is a waterfall in New Zealand, and it's a lovely 360 photo. So again, if you're into your 360 photos, then ThingLink is another website to consider using. And then on the same slide, if I go back for a second, on the same slide, you've got a couple of YouTube clips showing how ThingLink can be used in this way. Okay. And if I just go to the next one, this is a Padlet, which the MFL Twitterati, which I haven't mentioned so far. The MFL Twitterati is a group of language teachers, language consultants, and language associations from the UK and from Ireland. And there's about 5,000 members or so, but the hashtag MFL Twitterati has been used by teachers literally from all over the world for many years. It's on the same sort of level as LangChat in the States, so I would really encourage you to follow that hashtag. You'll find lots of interesting things. And this Padlet brings together some of the resources that were shared during lockdown, which include virtual trips and other such things using Bitmojis and made in PowerPoint, so that the children can have a feeling of what it's like going around the world, because of course they can't travel at the moment. And that was put together by Esmeralda Salgado, who is Botones Salgado on Twitter. And just thought, just before I actually create this presentation, if you'd like any sort of help or ideas on remote teaching, I'm more than happy to help. Here are 18 example sessions that you can access in your own time. And if you're interested, I would love to hear from you, either as a school or as a district in the States or anywhere in the world for that matter. This is the link to the presentation. So it's is.gd/global-cred2. And now what I'm going to do for the rest of the presentation is I'm going to build a tour from scratch. So let me click exit like that, go to a new page. I'm just going to close all these windows here, just to get rid of some of them like this. Okay, and then I'm going to go to Google Tour Creator. Okay, right. So Google Tour Creator, RIP, should I say? Get started. Okay, I'm logged in already, so that's fine. And what I can do now is I can just give you a flavor of how this works. So I can click on the templates option here. And you can see you've got a number of different tours that, again, have been made already. So, for example, if I click on the 7 Wonders of the World here, that will then load up that template. Okay, and I can now see at the bottom there are a number of different scenes as they're referred to. So if I go, for example, to the Taj Mahal, I click on that, and you can see there are a number of different eye icons on the screen, and these are referred to as points of interest. So you can see here that we've got a description here which obviously you could write in the target language. We've got some audio, which is called scene narration. That means it only plays once, it doesn't loop. And we know that because there's a line through the scene narration showing it's been added. So I can click on play, for example.
The Taj Mahal. This UNESCO World Heritage Site in Agra, India, is a jewel of Indo-Islamic architecture,
etc. And then I can have a look around and I can click on all the different points of interest. And and that's it. So if I now click here, for example, I can get some text about the mausoleum or the gardens and so on and so forth. I can now jump to, say, the Great Wall of China. And then I can then again check out this area and I can click there. I can get some description about the Great Wall of China. I can add in some audio and so on and so forth. So that just gives you a flavor of how this works. But now what we're going to do is we're going to create one from scratch. So I go to here and I click New Tour. Okay, so we're going to do a tour of Dinan, which is one of the places I mentioned in my Google My Maps little tour there. For this, I need to have a cover photo. So I'm going to go to my favorite place for finding royalty-free images, which is Photos for Class. So I do a search for Photos for Class. There we are. I click on that. This is a directory of royalty-free or Creative Commons licensed images. And I'm going to do a search for Dinan and click Find Photos. Okay, I now need to find a photo that I can then use. If one hasn't come up straight away, I just click on the next one. There we are. And I want to use this picture here. So I'm going to click on the download option like that, click Save, and it downloads into Chrome there. I can then go back to Tour Creator and I can literally drag and drop the image straight into that little box there. Okay. You'll see here as well, as I've said already, that if you are logged in with Google Expeditions and with Google Tour Creator with the same account, then the tour that you make will automatically import into Google Expeditions, which is very nice. Again, I could put a description here, but I don't need to if I don't want to. So I can just click Create. Okay. Now, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to find somewhere to add as our first scene. So to do that, it comes up with Street View. I click here and I'm going to put in Rue du Jejual. There we are, which is in Dinan, which is a very famous medieval street in Dinan, and it looks like this. Okay, so I'm now going to click Add Scene. And there we are. And there's my scene. Okay, fantastic. Now, here you've got this icon, which is Add Ambient Audio. So if you add audio there, then that will loop forever. And here you've got the Add Scene Narration. So to add some audio, a really nice way of doing that is to go to a website like Online Voice Recorder. This, click Online Voice Recorder and make a recording. This is the top of the famous medieval street in Dinan called Rue du Jejual. Okay, I've made my recording. I can also top and tail the recording like this, and I can click Save. Okay, and then I could give it a name like C.R.E.D 1, for example, and then click Save. Right, that's going to save that down into my Chrome downloads bar. And then what I can do is I can click on the icon here, Add Scene Narration, which means it'll only play once. And I can drag and drop the audio straight into that little box there and click Add. Okay, so then here I can copy and paste that and make it the scene Rue du Jejual. Okay, perfect. So we've done that. And now I'm going to click Add Scene. And again, I'm going to do another search for the same street. Let's do that again. Okay, and this time I'm actually going to move down the street. Okay, go through the archway and we'll go up a little bit, just a bit here. There we are. And then here, right. Okay, so I'm now going to click Add Scene. Like that. Okay, and I'm going to add my point of interest right in the middle. So this time I'm going to click, I could obviously click another Add Scene Narration, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to click Add Point of Interest. So if I go back to another tab and I put in flat icon and click here. This is another directory of images which legally I'm allowed to use. So if I put in camera, like this, okay, let's do that again. And what should happen, try that again. There we are, camera. Okay, and one of these will now come up. So it can be any one at all, doesn't really matter. I'm going to click on this one. So I click on one of these icons and I click PNG and free download. Okay, so that's now going to download to Chrome for me. So we'll call it C.R.E.D 2 this time to make it nice and use a nice naming convention. And I'm now going to click add point of interest, and I'm going to put camera, and I'm going to click on the image icon here. So I click on that and I drag and drop the picture into the box and click add in a second. In fact, I'll do it right now. There we are. And that picture, there we are. Can you see that picture is going to appear when I come to this scene? Now, the reason I've done this, well, I'm going to explain actually in the audio. If I go back to here and I click, or I refresh the page, let's have a go. Okay. Once we started walking down the Rue du Jesuel in Dinan, we would always step on, we would always sit on these. So I've obviously made a mistake. So I'm going to start again and refresh. So this is a nice way of starting again. Just reload the page. Let's do it again. Okay. Having started walking down the famous street of Jesuel in Dinan, we would always sit on these steps and the children would take lots of photographs as the group photograph. And this is a very famous thing to do that we did every single time we came to Dinan. And the children would then stick their photographs into their diary for the week. Okay, so I'm just, again, that's all fine as it is. I then click save. And I click C.R.E.D, call it C.R.E.D 3 this time. Save, go back to Tour Creator. I then click on the icon here, which is add site narration, which essentially means it will play the audio when I click on the image that I've added and I click add. Okay, and we'll call this one photo opportunity. Okay, right, let's do another one. Click add scene. Again, we'll go to Rue Jesuel, and this time I'm going to go right to the bottom of the street, and you'll see, you'll get a feeling for how, oh, there we are. Yep. How, let's do that again. How far it is down the street, but you'll see there's a special surprise at the bottom, which made it totally worth it. So we'll keep going down. You can see that the in the middle of the street, there's like a place where in medieval time they would chuck the dirty water out of the windows, and that would run down the street. And the children, of course, used to find that absolutely fascinating. And here is the special treat, which is a little bakery where they could practice their French and ask for different things in the target language, which is fantastic. So I'm going to click add scene there. There we are. And we'll call it La Maison de Dijon. Okay. And I'm then going to find another image from flat icon. So I'll go here. And this time I'm going to do a search for ice cream, which is what they would normally buy. So let's put in ice cream. And there we are. We'll find one that we like. Okay, so we're going to go for this one, I think. Click on that and click PNG. Free download. Okay, so we'll call this one C.R.E.D 4. I think we're on to now. Click save. There it is. Go back to Tour Creator. Click on the add point of interest. Click on the image icon. Drag the PNG onto the rectangle. Click add. And here it is. Okay, which is going to appear in a second. I then record my, there we are. I then record my audio here again, go back to here, refresh the page. It was always tiring walking down the street, particularly if it was a hot day. But at the bottom, there was the fantastic bakery and place where we could buy ice creams for the children to practice their French. Okay, then we click save. And that's C.R.E.D 5, I think. Click save. Here we are. Go back to Tour Creator. Click on the add site narration, drag the audio in, and click add. Perfect. Right. I think that's all set up. Now in the next one, I'll show you this, the little template that Chris Hart created. So I can click upload here, and this is where I add the image. So if I go back to my presentation and I go back to the this particular slide here and click present, the link that I want to click on is the bottom one here. Okay, so I click on this link. And then, as you can see here, it says click on this link to make your own copy. So I click on this link and I click make a copy. So that will now create a copy of this absolutely huge Google Slides slide. You'll see how big it is in a moment when I start adding in some text. So now what I can do is I can start adding in some different images. So if I drag in the image that I produced originally, I found originally using the Photos for Class website, I can now, let's do that again. Okay, I can now make that the appropriate size. I can also add in the other image, which is that one, the ice cream one. And then I'm just going to add some text as well. So if I click on the insert option and text box, and then I'm going to draw a shape here. Okay, and I'm going to click in there and I'm going to say, I love ice cream, like this. Now you can see how tiny the text is. So I'm going to drag across the text and I'm going to make that much, much bigger. So I'm going to make it 200. There we are, much, much bigger. Let's make it a little bit bigger. Perfect. I love ice cream. Right, there we are. And obviously I could write that in the target language. I can then click on here and I can get rid of that area of distortion text. So the items you add have to be between those lines that were just on the screen. Then what you do is you click on the file option and you click download and you choose PNG, which will give a really nice definition, with not making massive file sizes. So let's call that one C.R.E.D 6 and save. So there's my image. I then go back to Tour Creator. And this time in the upload section, I can then drag that straight into here and it looks like that. But in a moment, you'll see how amazing it looks. Okay, so I click add scene. And then here you can see how you are sort of immersed or embedded into your own photo. So you could, for example, if you were doing some artwork, you could add the artwork onto the Google Slide presentation and then ask the children to record their audio describing what they could see, which is just fantastic. So for now, just to show you how it works, I'm going to refresh the page here and I'm going to say the following. I love ice cream. I deliberately left a pause there at the end. You'll see why in a moment. So let me just get rid of that bit at the beginning and click save. Right, and click C.R.E.D 7. Right, save, go back to Tour Creator. And this time I'm going to add, well, let's just call it ice cream, first of all. Oh, is that going to work? Hang on, what are we doing? Here we are. Let's click here. There we are. Ice cream, exclamation mark. Oh, that's the beauty of having a wireless keyboard. Right, so now I'm going to click here, which is the add ambient audio, which basically means it's going to loop. So if I do that, it's going to loop and I click add. Okay, so we've done it. We've done our different scenes. We've got the Rue du Jaguar, first of all. We've got the photo opportunity. We've got La Maison de Tati Jeanne. And we've got the ice cream option, which looks like this. Right, so now what I do is I click publish. You can make it public or you can make it unlisted. I would recommend making it unlisted and click publish. Okay, so once we've done that, it's going to appear on the screen and I can click view tour. I can also share this link with whoever I would like using my learning management system like Google Classroom or Microsoft Teams or whatever it is that I'm doing. Right, now the next thing that you must do is you click on the cog icon and you turn on ambient audio and you turn on narration audio, otherwise it won't work. Okay, so in this first one is the top of the famous medieval street in Dinan called Rue du Jajoal. Okay, so that was the narration, but it only plays the one time. It's not a point of interest. There isn't any way for me to click. Okay, so that's the first scene. I then click on the arrow here to go to the next scene. This is the next scene. This is the one with the point of interest. So now you can see there's a little image icon here, which if I click on it, having started walking down the famous street of Jajoal in Dinan, we would always sit on these steps and the children would take lots of photographs as the group photograph. And this is a very famous thing to do that we did every single time we came to Dinan. And the children would then stick their photographs into their diary for the week. There we are. Let's go on to the next scene. Okay, this one, you've got the image there for the ice cream. We click on that. It was always tiring walking down the street, particularly if it was a hot day. But at the bottom, there was the fantastic bakery and place where we could buy ice creams for the children to practice their French. And in the last one, we're going to see that immersive image. And just to warn you, it's going to loop that audio that I recorded a second ago. So here we go. I love ice cream. I love ice cream. I love ice cream. You get the idea, which is just fantastic. Okay, let's go back to the next one. Oh, I love ice cream. Quick, stop. Right, so let's just close that. Okay, so then we click done and we've done it. So let me go back to my presentation, which is here. Okay, and we'll quickly go to the last or the penultimate slide, which is here, just to show you the QR code. Okay, so if you found this useful and you'd like to have a go at it yourself, don't forget, unfortunately, Tour Creator is shutting down as of June 2021, but you can make tours up until that point. And then after that, you'll need to look at Google Earth projects, which is available in the Google Earth web tool. And if you click on the left-hand side, the one of the icons is for starting a project. Again, if you go onto YouTube and you do a search for Google Earth projects, you can actually build them right now, but you can't add audio in Google Earth projects unless you did some sort of screen recording over the top using a third-party tool such as Flipgrid or Screencast or Loom, the ones I mentioned already. I hope you found this useful. If you do want to get in touch, my email address again is here, joedale@talk21.com, and I'm just at joedale on Twitter. Thank you ever so much, everyone, and I hope you enjoy the rest of this amazing conference experience. Thank you for listening.